Blackmagic have just announced a new body-only version of the URSA Cine 12K LF, which positions it even more aggressively in the cinema camera market than it already was, as it's now priced at just over £7,000 including VAT. Considering just how much technology and power is packed into this camera, that price is incredibly impressive. It's still the exact same camera with no limitations or restrictions, but there are some changes and omissions when it comes to what accessories that it comes with. So let's walk through and explore what's different and what to consider if you're going to grab one of these amazing cameras yourself. First off, this new camera comes with a slightly different media option. The regular bundle comes with a massive 8TB media module pre-installed, but this new body-only variant comes with Blackmagic's CF Express Type B module. However, if you wanted to grab the 8TB module to use with the camera, it's available separately for £1,325 plus VAT, which for something this size and performance from the camera manufacturer themselves isn't too bad. Using one of their media modules like this will give you the most peace of mind compared to running CF Express cards. The biggest frustration with using these modules currently though is that Blackmagic doesn't make a single reader for the modules yet, just this 3-bay dock, which is large and requires power. This dock will be great for DIT carts and studios, but I can see people not wanting to use it. So if you end up using the module, you have to offload by connecting the camera to a computer via USB-C or Ethernet and accessing the SSD that way. Having access to the camera's media like this is awesome. However, it's not an ideal way to offload footage for most people. The 8TB module still offers a really good value though. I just wish that they made a simple reader for it. Fingers crossed it's something they do as soon as possible. The nice thing about using CF Express Type B is that you can just use regular cards with a regular reader. However, Blackmagic's media modules work with every combination of resolution, frame rate and compression, whereas Type B speeds and performance can vary card to card and brand to brand. So this is something worth testing and checking. Even the fastest CF Express Type B card I could find won't handle the max data rates of this camera, but they can handle plenty of the lower data rate combinations. However, there is a solution to this that we'll mention in a bit. Blackmagic has a data rate calculator online for the URSA Cine 12K LF, so you can compare the camera's data rates to the speeds of the different CF Express cards and see how they match up. This tool is also really helpful for deciding how many and what size Type B cards you want to grab, as you can dial in all the variables and see how long a given combination is going to give you when it comes to runtime. With the camera shooting such high resolution, you can of course fill up terabytes very quickly, but with the camera's fantastic in-camera scaling, you could shoot at 8K or 4K, or choose to shoot with more compression and get good runtimes from cards even just a terabyte in size. There are a range of different media specifications when it comes to Type B cards, but one worth understanding is the difference between the 2.0 spec and the 4.0 spec of CF Express Type B, as they differ in performance pretty substantially. There is also the VPG or Video Performance Guarantee rating, which lets you know the guaranteed sustained write speeds, which in this case is 400 megabytes per second, which is the highest currently available. However, lots of Type B cards will show speeds on them that are much higher than this, but they are often not guaranteed sustained write speeds, but just maximums that can't be sustained for long periods of time. However, some cards like these from ProGrade do have sustained write speeds marked on them. This used singularly will cover a good few of the recording formats available, but not everything. Blackmagic have updated their support page with an article that covers their recommended media for a few different recording formats, which you can see here. There are some 2.0 spec cards on here, so I would still double check whether they cover exactly what you need using the calculator and go from there. Like with some of Blackmagic's other cameras in the past, you can actually record two inserted CF Express cards in the camera at the same time to utilise both data rates of the cards together. This allows you to record the higher data rate options using Type B. This stripes the B-RAW files across both cards sequentially, one being labelled as a B-RAW file and the other being labelled as a B-RAW2 file. You can then combine these together in post using the media management tool in Resolve. The overall data rate is limited by the slowest card that you use, so using the same is recommended. When using this mode, your maximum data rate is double that of your slowest card. This means if you use two cards with a sustained write speed of 1500 megabytes per second or 1.5 gigabytes per second like this from ProGrade, you should in theory be able to sustain even the 3 gigabytes per second data rate of 12K 3x2 60 frames per second at 3:1 constant bitrate, and ProGrade have even teased the card with a 2.1 gigabyte per second sustained write. which would allow for up to 80 frames per second in that combination. This is awesome to see, but does mean that you need to make sure you offload them correctly when you hit post. And if you do decide to go down this route, I really suggest stress testing your cards first. And I would also make sure that the camera's stop recording if drop frame setting is turned on in the menu. Anyway, links to all the calculators and stuff that we've mentioned are in the description below. If you want to see how the camera handles scaling and the trade-offs you make when shooting more compressed, I really suggest watching our massive 55-minute long review all about the Cine 12K where we go in depth about it. This new body-only variant doesn't come with a battery plate installed, so you'll need to grab one if you decide to pick up one of these cameras, whereas the regular kits come with a B-mount pre-installed. The Cine 12K is a dual voltage camera that can operate at both 12 and 24 volt. However, there are limitations when running 12 to 18 volts. It will limit frame rates to a max of 60 frames per second across the board, and powering accessories via the RS and EXT outputs on the camera is not possible. But this is actually a pretty reasonable set of limitations, and does mean that you can use lower cost and more available batteries than 24 volt options. But the recommendation is to power the camera with a 24 volt source when you can to get the absolute most out of it. But it is really good that you can run on 12 volt if you need to, and given this camera's new price, I think people will. The Cine 12K has 3 available battery plates, B-mount, Gold and V-mount, all of which are available separately and are very affordable. The V and Gold mount plates have been co-developed between Blackmagic and Core SWX, so they can take both 14 volt batteries and Core's Helix Max line of 24 volt ones as well. The Helix Max batteries are dual voltage, so you can use them between 12 and 24 volt equipment, which is really helpful. Mounting the battery plates can be a bit fiddly, but take your time and it's easily something an end user can do. The Cine 12K has a power draw between 85 and 150 watts. This does mean it can really churn through batteries. From our testing with these specific settings, you can expect a 285 watt-hour battery to last roughly 2 hours and 48 minutes, which works out into these run times using smaller batteries. But if you add on accessories being powered via the body or plug in an accessory into a battery, power draw will rise and run times will drop. The regular bundles come with an 8-pin LEMO 250 watt power supply, which could come in handy, whereas the body only one does not. But again, this is available separately to buy. For most powering via 8-pin, I think a block battery is what's going to be used. And what's handy is that the 8-pin LEMO used on this camera is the same as the one used on the Arri Alexa Mini and Mini LF, so you'll be able to use the same cables available for those cameras with this one. Lastly, this new body-only version comes with a locking EF mount out of the box, whereas the bundles come with both PL and EF. However, if you want to use PL or even LPL mount, you can choose to pick those up as an optional extra. Swapping the lens mount is really easy to do, though if you do, I do suggest grabbing some shims alongside the mount to make sure your camera's back focus is correct between the 2 different mounts. If you want to learn why shimming your lenses and camera is important, check out our video all about it in the description below. I think it coming with EF does make sense, and there are plenty of great EF lenses you can use with it. However, the PL mount will offer a more robust and comprehensive range of Cine lenses. We use the 12K LF with our fantastic Zeiss Otus primes, which this camera pairs really well with, especially because the EF mount is actually locking, so it's far more robust than regular EF mounts without the lock. If you want to learn more about the limitations and recommendations of using certain lenses on the 12K, check out the section covering that in our in-depth review. These are the different kit lists that each version of the camera comes with. So if you do decide to go body only, you aren't getting a good chunk of Blackmagic's optional accessories. So you'll either have to use stuff you already have, or grab some rigging to get it into a position that you're happy with. Almost everything that comes with the other Cine 12K packages can be purchased as an optional extra from Blackmagic, apart from the sun hood, which looks to not be included in the body only. This includes the EVF, 15 and 19mm plates and top handle, but you can of course grab third-party options for rigging as well. Mid-49, tilter and wooden camera all have rigging either out or coming out for the Cine 12K. You can also use the Pixis monitor using the same USB-C port as the EVF, if you fancy another 5-inch monitor on top of the 2 already built into the camera. So with this new body being just over £7,000, it does position it slightly different in the market compared to the bundles. £7,000 is closer to the price of cameras like the FX6, C400 and Komodo X. And if you compare the 12K to these cameras, it does deliver a lot for its price. But really, the Cine 12K is a camera designed for different workflows than these cameras. Not only because of some of its features, but mainly its form factor and design. The 12K has been designed for traditional cinema and broadcast workflows and studio environments, and it's a much larger system than others at its price. That's not to say you won't be able to shoot handheld with this camera, it's just much larger and heavier compared to some of the aforementioned cameras. This means that for solo shooters, it's worth understanding that you'll need larger and more often than not more expensive support equipment sat around the camera. This means bigger tripod systems, gimbals, sliders, bags. But the camera's form factor is fantastic for controlled shooting scenarios. The built-in screens are bright and very useful, you have loads of control on both sides of the camera, great connectivity options, and most importantly that brilliant 12K sensor that Blackmagic have designed, which punches way above its price point. It has excellent dynamic range, impressive readout speeds considering its size and speed, the ability to shoot solid high frame rates, and in-camera scaling thanks to the symmetrical RGBW sensor design, which is paired with Blackmagic's compressed RAW format. We've done the math, and you're actually better off buying this camera body only and buying all the kits separately. If we put all of the accessories together using the body only as our base, the regular bundle works out around £3,000 less, and while you don't get the custom 1510 Pelly, it does include a general Pelly and you get the CF Express Type B module on top, which you don't have with the other bundle. So I really can't recommend buying the bundles at the moment. Buy everything individually, and if you want a custom Pelly, you can get one made way cheaper and have some money left over for some extra kit like the EVF, a nice lens, some more media, or even some support equipment. Fingers crossed Blackmagic dropped the price of the bundles to make this all kind of fit in line, as with this current pricing, it's going to be a tough sell. We're actually going to be grabbing one of these cameras for our studio as we are planning on connecting it to our internal 10G network in our office. This means we can have the camera downstairs in our studio and then access it up in our office without needing a cable obviously run all the way. We can just access it like a network storage device, and then we can grade and export ProRes without needing to offload cards to then colour and transcode. It should make for an interesting workflow change for us, and the footage is incredibly detailed, which for product shoots will be very helpful. Let us know if we should do a video about this when we do in the comments below. I do think this is a good move from Blackmagic overall, as it gives people an option to tailor their Cine 12K package for their preference, and puts it at an even more aggressive price point. If you're interested in ordering one for yourself, I've put links to our website in the description below. Or if you'd like to get your hands on the camera first, we have the Cine 12K in our beautiful central London showroom, so if you want to come in and check it out and get some advice on what kit may be best for you, drop our fantastic team an email via demo@cvp.com. Anyway, let us know if you have any other questions in the comments. And if you like the video, please give it a like and maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss out on our awesome upcoming content. And thank you so much for watching.